The new Fortnite season is here. Ranks have been reset, so today I'm giving you 23 brand new tips to help you hit Unreal as fast as possible in Chapter 6 Season 1. The Void Mask is going to be one of the most useful items for rotation this season, but it has other uses as well. If an opponent is pressuring your wall, open a window or edit and bait the Ender Pearl. At this point in the season, most people won't expect it, so while they turn around to see where it goes, you can get a shot off or escape. Someone above you, shoot your Ender Pearl above them and activate it before it hits the roof or floor. If you time this right, you can secure height or even get a shot off, allowing you to be more aggressive and finish off your opponent. This secret vault location could very well be your next drop spot. Land in Night Shift Forest, grab a Sprite, and hand it to the NPC. Then, grab the vault key, head to the vault, and within a minute, you're ready to fight. If you are still wondering whether it's worth it to use the new Simple Edits feature or not, the simple answer is no. Although you can arguably make some edits easier and faster, it limits the overall edits you can make. You lose the ability to scroll wheel reset while the feature is on as well. So it's definitely not a feature you should have on if you want to improve. To start off every game with Mythic Shotgun, hunt down the Shogun boss. Open your map, locate the Shogun boss icon, and set a marker. It's important to make sure you land somewhere nearby, but loot up properly first before engaging, as you'll need a lot of ammo. Killing the Shogun takes some time as well, so keep an eye out for third parties looking to pick you off. The Void Mask isn't the only use of movement in Chapter 6. Using different exploits with the Typhoon blade allows you to rotate large distances at a crazy pace. The first way to do this is by launching from your box. Edit your cone like this, then jump and dash with your Typhoon blade out to launch yourself forward. Or edit your wall like this, position yourself inside it, then do the same again. On the topic of movement, this season's map has over 40 launch pads scattered around, so wherever you decide to land, take note of where the nearest ones are, so you can use them to rotate or find opponents to engage. A useful website to help get to grips with the new Fortnite map is FortniteGG's interactive one. You can see the positions of the launch pads on the map and way more. Not only is the map quite a bit bigger this season, but there's significantly more loot as well, going from around 800 overall chests in Chapter 5 to over 1,300 in Chapter 6. So there are always opportunities to loot up elsewhere. If you can't get the perfect landing, or if your drop spot looks too congested, just find another spot to loot up nearby. When you're trying to rank up at the start of a new season, you want to minimize the amount of Offspawn deaths that you have. If you have a drop spot already, it may be a good idea to find an alternative landing spot close by if things go south. I couldn't make a tips video without talking about how to abuse the new and overpowered movement mechanics that Fortnite introduced in Chapter 6. And to climb up the ranks fast and to keep up with other players, you'll need to get used to them. One of the strongest ones is the wall scramble. Use it to boost yourself in the opposite direction of your opponent with a flipped ramp or cone, or use it to launch out your box like this to catch an opponent who is above you off guard. If you're an OG, the term EJ Dash may ring a bell. In the new season, it's made a return. There are a few ways you can use this in-game, but I think the most effective method for now is this one. As you're running toward the box, place a cone, edit it like this, then as you're running through, do the same again and jump at the same time to be given a momentum boost. Having the best loadout and being confident in your weapon choices will make a big difference every game. And after hours of playing ranked, for me, it's easy to choose. When it comes to shotguns, the Sentry Pump is without a doubt the most well-rounded one in the loot pool. It has a capacity of 4 shots instead of 5 that we're used to with pumps, so be mindful of that in your fights. This season's ARs are better than SMGs in my opinion, so I use the Hollow Twister AR. It's better to pair these with 2 heals, and if you can, the Oni Void Mask, or if you can't, the Typhoon blade. But if you prefer using SMGs instead of ARs, each of them has a special quality. The Veiled SMG always comes with a suppressor and a red dot sight, so it can function as an AR at some ranges. A more traditional SMG that resembles the P90 is the Surgefire SMG. The lower your ammo capacity, the faster the fire rate gets, so don't be afraid to dump those mags. A new season is usually harder to rank up in at the start. This is because of the higher density of good players spread across every rank. So you'll need to play at the best of your ability to ensure you don't die off spawn game after game after game. So make sure you warm up before playing. Our new 1v1 map has the latest weapons, 0 delay, and a Christmas theme, so go ahead and check it out. It's a good time to make changes like turning edit on release off. You might edit faster with it on, but you'll improve faster without it on. You'll also have more control over your edits, angles, and more. So use this time at the start of the season to work on your weaknesses, or change that keybind you've been meaning to for the last few months and get used to it. One thing we don't think many players have noticed yet this season is how good the loot on the train is. This season, if you hack the chest, you're guaranteed a mythic weapon as well as some other good loot. Only the first person to open the chest will receive the mythic, however. There's now 2 aim modes on various weapons in the loot pool. This means you can toggle between third person or first person. To do this, hold down shift while you're aiming down your sights. This can be useful if you have an opportunity to deal some damage and want to make sure your shots count. Boons are a new addition to the game that have gone fairly under the radar so far. Boons grant you unique abilities that give you an advantage in different scenarios. You can find boons in these chests across the map, or you can rip them from the rotting carcass of your opponent after you had them sniff your walls and eat your 200 pump. Similar to boons, the new sprites scattered across the map will grant you limited abilities if you pick them up and use them. For example, if you come across the air sprite in game, pick it up, put it down, and use the tornado it creates to launch a decent distance. Carrying a friend who hasn't played Fortnite in a while, if they go down in a fight, use the Oni Void Mask, shoot an Ender Pearl, put your friend on your back, and then teleport to make an easy escape. I'm going to be quickly going over all of my optimized Chapter 6 Season 1 settings. So firstly, window mode, just use full screen. Don't use windowed full screen, don't use windowed. They're not worth it. They do not perform as well. Full screen is just the best. It's the most optimized. It's going to perform the best. Just use it. Resolution, do whatever your monitor's resolution resolution is. If you have a slightly higher resolution monitor than I do, then go ahead and use that. If you're really struggling for performance, you have a lower end PC, you can maybe go down to 16:9. I wouldn't recommend going any lower than that. But I would also recommend staying on your monitor's resolution and then lowering the 3D resolution before you try going to 16:9. VSync, turn this off. Not worth it. Can cause frame stutters and screen tearing and lag and input delay. It's just not worth it. Your frame rate, put this at whatever your monitor's refresh rate is. Some people say you can go one higher. I don't personally recommend that. You can do it. It's not the worst thing in the world. The only time I would say that doesn't apply is the 240 to 360 jump, because that's just a massive jump and you don't want to be producing 120 extra frames beyond what your monitor is actually capable of producing. So I would recommend putting it at what your monitor's refresh rate is, but if you want to go one higher, you can. Render mode, put this on performance. It's literally designed to optimize performance. It's going to lower certain settings that you don't need maxed out all the way to their lowest. It's just going to be a good starting point to get your game to perform a lot better. Now, brightness is a personal preference setting. You can go anywhere from 100 to the max, although I wouldn't recommend going any lower than 100. I just, it'll get dark. Things will be hard to read and see. It's just not worth going below 100. Colorblind is the same story, although there are some colorblinds that let you see through storm better, and let you see certain things better. I have mine on Triton Oak 10, which is pretty strong, but that's just my preference. I can see through storm pretty well, so I would recommend that. But you can mess around with it, see what you like. Different seasons change what colorblinds are the best to use and whatnot. So 3D resolution, have this on 100 if you can. If you're really struggling for performance, you can put this down, but I wouldn't recommend going below like 75. View distance, keep this as far as you can handle with your game's performance. This will only change render distance for items. Player distance doesn't change regardless of the view distance. So players will render at the same distance no matter what you have this on. So if you need it on near for performance, go ahead and do that. Textures and meshes on low. And then finally, one of the biggest things that is super important, your sound quality and 3D headphones. I don't think you need these on high settings, but that's not the super important thing that I'm talking about. I am talking about visualize sound effects. Everyone uses this. If you're not using this, you're kind of behind. This allows you to see and hear footsteps. Well, not hear, but see them. Footsteps and shots way quicker than you would hear them, at least for me. But everyone uses these because it tells you kind of directionally where the sound is coming from as well, which can be really useful. So it will impact frames maybe a tiny bit, but it's still worth having on in basically everybody's opinion, including my own. And yeah, that's all the settings you need.